If you are a fan of softball, you are going to love the Fastpitch TV show. From softballjunk.com, we're bringing you more softball than anyone on the planet. Sit back and get ready. Here's the Fastpitch TV show.
Hello, I'm Gary Leland, and this is the Fastpitch TV show. Make sure and take a look at all my videos, blogs, and other softball information on my website at www.fastpitch.tv. The Fastpitch TV website brings you more free softball information than anyone else on the planet. Now today I bring you episode 6 in the history of softball. Now I am working with Fastpitch softball legend Dr. Richardson and Allison Strange of PFX Athletics to film a series of interviews between Dot Richardson and other softball legends. You are really going to be amazed at some of the softball greats that are joining us on this series of shows. Now in this episode, Dot Richardson interviews softball greats Jessica Mendoza and Michelle Smith. And Beth Mowins of ESPN also joins us. Now this is another great interview in the series. Now let's go to the show right after this short message.
Oops, sorry. I was reading this month's issue of the Fastpitch magazine. What? You're not familiar with the Fastpitch magazine? Watch this. You are going to love it. Looks great, right? Want to find more about the #1 coaching tool on the internet? Go to fastpitchmagazine.com today.
Here we are with Jessica Mendoza, two-time Olympian. Jess, here we are in the ASA Hall of Fame. And right here is a youth program. And talk about travel ball, Junior Olympic, and just how you got started.
I look at the pictures, I look around, and I think about the moments of like when I first started playing softball, and especially travel ball, because that's when it really took it to another level. You start traveling the country, and you're, coming up with cheers and team names and enjoying this game in so many different levels. And I literally look back, and these were some of the best times of my life, just because this is when you really learn the game at the next level. Pressure situations, trying to win a championship, playing against other players from all over the country, which really opened up my mind to different styles of ball, different ways of doing things, but also the camaraderie with your teammates. I mean, come on, road trips, you're traveling all over different states, and you're really just enjoying being a young girl.
Now, you're going to laugh about this, but I think you told me that you met me and I signed an autograph. And if I remember, and I have pretty good memory of faces, I might have remembered you when I signed that autograph, believe it or not. I mean, talk about Olympians and when you first got that drive for excellence and to aspire to be an Olympian.
Well, I remember hearing you speak when I was actually playing in a 14 under tournament, and you and Lisa Fernandez were the guest speakers. And at that time, I was kind of going through a lot of different peer pressures of it's not cool to really love the sport. And I just remember you got up to the stage and you reminisced about the '96 Olympics and your energy. I mean, anyone that knows Dot knows that there's passion and there's energy. And you got to the stage and you just talked about that '96 Olympics and what you were able to do with the game-winning home run and just your love for the game. And right there in that moment, I realized it was okay to be different. It was okay to love the game. And I looked around at my teammates who totally did not connect in the same way, and I realized that I was going to be different, and that was because of you.
But I think that is important to realize as we walk and see some of these pictures, just how advanced it's gone. But for players to realize not everyone might have the passion that you have, but that's okay to continue to strive for that excellence. And for you, I mean, talk about now you're going to college and pursuing college, but how did you get recognized to become an Olympian?
Honestly, it was through travel ball. I remember playing in tournaments, but I felt like personally how I think people noticed me was just more not even so much the talent, because I was still trying to feel my way. I mean, I remember being like the 7th batter on my travel team. I wasn't a standout by any means, but I really enjoyed the game. And I was the girl that was covered head to toe in dirt. I was the one always repeating the outs, keeping the energy, like just showing that I wanted to be there. And I feel like now more than ever, if you just show that kind of energy and that you're into the game, I feel like you're going to stand out on your own. I think talent isn't always the number one thing that coaches are looking for. It's really about how much do you care about this game and how much are you willing to get better.
So how'd you make that 2004 Olympic team, and talk about that experience in 2008?
The 2004 Olympic team, I just remember being so nervous because I was always like humbled to a fault. Like I remember looking around and seeing Lisa Fernandez and seeing players that I had grown up watching and thinking, is there any way I could actually be on the team with them? Like, I'm not good enough. And then finally realizing,
enough, really.
no, but finally realizing that, you know what, I deserve to be here. And that was a big moment for me, making that 04 Olympic team. But in 2008, that was a bittersweet Olympics because, you know, we knew this could be the last time that softball was ever in the Olympic Games. We did not win a gold medal, but it was a special time because we were really trying to showcase our game on a global level. And the fact that Japan did win, I felt helped showcase that as much as it hurt. And like,
yes,
oh my gosh, I don't do anything to go back and beat them. But at the same time, it shows how much the growth of this game has gone international. And it was a very important time.
Well, as hard as it was in 1996 for us to lose the game against Australia in that extra innings, Australia hosted the Olympics.
Yeah.
And what is really ironic, if you look at now in time, that 2008 loss to Japan in the Olympics, isn't it ironic that in 2020, the Olympic Games are being hosted by Japan?
That's how it's supposed to, I feel like, come back around.
I'm telling you, if softball gets back in the Olympics, as painful as it might have been, you know that.
Yeah.
But as world exposure as it was to get back in the Olympics, I think you might look back and we all might say, well, it's part of the game, it's worth it.
Japan winning in 08, that was the only Olympic gold medal for men's or women's team sport in the history of the Olympics. So Japan had never won a team gold medal,
I just got goosebumps.
Women or men. So, I mean, they made history in their country. So, I mean, how do they not want the sport to be back in the Olympics in 2020?
Yeah. Well, Jessica, here we are in the NCAA room at the Hall of Fame, and we got some special guests to join us. Here we are at the ASA Hall of Fame in the NCAA room, and look at this special guest that I have surrounding me. Beth Mowins is the voice of NCAA softball. Beth, welcome. And here we have Olympians. Michele, welcome. Michelle Smith, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Jessica Mendoza, 2-time Olympian as well. Now, I'm like out of sorts here a little bit because you guys are the voice of women's collegiate softball. And the only thing I can add to this conversation is being in the first ever NCAA championship, which was in 1982. UCLA faced Fresno State, and we happened to win. And it was so funny, you guys, because all there was in the open dugout, okay? Didn't even have a roof on it. They ended up putting plywood on the top, and the commentators went up with a table. The wind was blowing like crazy, and I think there was maybe one camera.
Yeah.
So what I would love for you guys to do is, Beth, go ahead and talk about 20 years you've been doing this. You two have become in the face, the celebrities, all of that. And just what is it like in this transition from that 1982. Here we are.
Well, I think the coverage is unbelievable. First of all, the facility here is spectacular. You're getting close to 10,000 people per night. The ratings on television are going through the roof and often outrating Major League Baseball games that are on at the same time. So the growth of the sport has been ridiculous nationwide. I think of your first team in 82 and all the success for UCLA and Arizona for the first 20 years of the NCAA tournament, and now look where we are. We're back in your native Florida, where the SEC and the rise of the Southeast has just taken the game to a whole new level. There is money being poured into the sport at the collegiate level now that has just been fantastic.
I love listening to you, and your knowledge is so awesome. You two, giving the color. Talk to it. I love how you work together. I know pitching, but you did hit too as well. But Jess with hitting. Tell me, you guys work so well together. What are you seeing in the advancement of the game, Michele? You've been around a lot longer. Jess, you've been around as well. What are you seeing in the advancement?
honestly, it's everything. I remember when I played in the Women's College World Series, it was in California. We played on slow pitch fields. They were so sloped you couldn't even put a bunt down without it rolling foul. I mean, so our fields are better, our stadiums are better, bat and ball. I mean, the technology has really driven the sport, and the female athlete as well is bigger, stronger, more educated, because they start at a younger age with all the tools of video, training, conditioning, and it's made a big difference. And, all of a sudden you pop out these athletes that look like Jessica.
Yeah. Jess, come on, talk about it. Hitting out,
Well, I mean, that's where the game has evolved the most. And I, of course, as a hitter, love it. I love seeing all the run production and the way that the hitters are able to execute. And just, honestly, the level of game, what you're talking about with the athleticism and the technology and just the knowledge. I mean, players are so much smarter, so much younger, and I think a big part of that is the fact that it's on television. They're growing up watching the game. I mean, I remember growing up, and I remember watching one softball game, and it was the '96 Olympics, and it was on a tape delay. It wasn't even live, and it was the coolest thing in the world to be able to see softball on television, and now girls are getting that every single day throughout the spring.
And Dot, the best part is, every year when we conduct our interviews before we start playing at the World Series, there's always a woman on one of the teams that says, I've been watching you guys since I was 10 years old, and I always wanted to play here. And then she shows up, and she is here getting a chance to play for a national championship.
I tell you, we are so blessed, and everyone listening so blessed to have these three who have committed to our sport and are sharing knowledge, experience, and passion. Thank you all so much. You're amazing.
Thank you, Dot.
Thank you, Dot.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure to come back and watch part 7 of Softball History. Please tell all your friends about the Fastpitch TV show and this series of softball history shows. Make sure to take a look at my website, www.fastpitch.tv, to keep up with all the future episodes of this show. Now, until next time, this is Gary Leland saying goodbye and thanks for watching.
Do you need a softball bat? Do you want to save $30? SoftballJunk.com is offering an additional $30 discount off the price of all non-sale softball bats on their website. That's right, $30. So the next time you buy a bat, go to SoftballJunk.com and enter the code FPTV30 during checkout. And wham! You just put a cool $30 in your pocket. This show is a member of the Fastpitch TV network. See all of our shows and blogs at www.fastpitch.tv.